Today, we're diving deep into the story of a young beast who's about to shake up the NFL like a hurricane in Miami. Picture a 6'5", 260-pound monster with the speed of a cheetah and the power of a freight train, exploding off the edge, making quarterbacks pray for mercy. That's what people see when they think of Cincinnati Bengals defensive end Shemar Stewart. The question is, can he live up to the hype and become the next dominant force in the league? Stick around, because we're breaking it all down. His rise, his grind, and his glory. Let's get in. Shemar Stewart didn't just pop out of nowhere. Rather, he was forged in the fire of South Florida football. Born and raised in Miami Gardens, Florida, Shemar grew up in a place where football isn't just a game, it's a way of life, a ticket out, and a battle for respect. The defensive end hit the scene at Monsignor Pace High School, a powerhouse program under coach Brandon Marquez. As a freshman, he was already turning heads, but by his junior and senior years, he was an absolute menace. We're talking 85 tackles in his senior season alone. He was a two-sport star too, hooping on the basketball court, which explains his insane athleticism. He basically had the quickness of a guard and the frame of a defensive end. Of course, he could have decided to become a professional basketball player, but football most likely appealed to him a lot better. Beyond football merely appealing to him better, his ability to make fluid and explosive plays just meant he was built for the NFL. But here's where the story gets juicy. He soon had to go to college, so he became the prize every college program was fighting over. Rated as a 5-star prospect by 24/7 Sports and Rivals, number 9 overall in the 2022 class, number 3 defensive lineman, and the top dog in the entire state of Florida. Everybody wanted a piece. Georgia, LSU, Miami, you name it. It was a war, but Stewart stayed true to his vision. On National Signing Day in February 2022, he flipped the script and committed to Texas A&M. He did this because he saw an opportunity to build something special with that loaded Aggies class, the highest rated recruiting haul in history. Stewart stepped on campus as a true freshman, and the hype was real. But college football? It's a different game entirely. You have veterans, schemes, and that SEC grind where every Saturday feels like the Super Bowl. Stewart didn't start right away, but he earned his stripes. In 2022, Shemar didn't just sit on the bench watching others play. Rather, he featured in all 12 games for the Aggies. Things could have been better. However, this was huge for a true freshman. He wasn't just out there collecting participation trophies either. He started 6 of those games, showing the coaches trusted him to ball out early. He made 23 tackles, 11 solo, 3.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and a couple of quarterback hurries. Of course, these numbers weren't exactly Aaron Donald numbers, but for an 18-year-old jumping out from Florida 4A ball to facing SEC offensive linemen, that's solid work. Let's get to the highlights. Shemar made his collegiate debut against Sam Houston on September 3rd, 2022, and went on to notch his first full sack in a September 24 game against Arkansas. He was just getting started and kept showing flashes. 2 solo tackles and a fumble recovery at Alabama on October 8th, battling a juggernaut in Tuscaloosa. Then, on November 5th against Florida, he added another tackle for loss, stuffing a play for a 1-yard loss. These moments showed he wasn't just athletic, he was learning to read plays and make an impact. Now, let's keep it real. Shemar's freshman year wasn't perfect. His 4.5 career sacks over 3 seasons, including just 1.5 in 2022, had some scouts calling him raw. He relied heavily on his freakish size and speed, but needed to develop better hand usage and pass rush moves. In the SEC, you're facing 300-pound tackles who've seen every trick in the book, so raw athleticism only gets you so far. Still, his ability to play all 12 games and start half of them as a true freshman was a testament to his work ethic and potential. Texas A&M's defensive scheme, a 4-3 system, let him pin his ears back and attack, which suited his explosive get-off. Stewart was coming off a solid freshman year in 2022, so the expectations were sky high for 2023, and people were beginning to wonder if he was the next big thing. As a sophomore, he played in all 13 games for the Aggies, stepping into a bigger role in that 4-3 defensive scheme under coach Jimbo Fisher. He only started 1 game officially, the Texas Bowl against Oklahoma State, But don't let that fool you. He was a key part of the defensive end rotation and was busy making offenses rethink their game plan. Let's talk numbers first. In 2023, Shemar racked up 28 tackles, 10 solo, 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 2 quarterback hurries in that Texas Bowl alone, which was a 31-23 loss to Oklahoma State on December 27, 2023. He also had a pick 6 against Mississippi State on November 11, 2023, snagging an interception and taking it to the house, his first career touchdown. That's not just stats, those are game-changing plays. His total career stats at that point, freshman and sophomore years combined, were 51 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and that pick 6. These are probably not eye-popping sack numbers, but football isn't just about sacks, it's about disruption, and Stewart was a problem for offenses. Stewart was so effective that teams like Alabama and LSU had to scheme around him, because if you left him one-on-one, you could get into trouble. He had this one game against Auburn where he chased down their quarterback from the backside. He was explosive and relentless. In 2024, his junior year, Stewart leveled up, started all 12 regular season games at defensive end, led the team with 7 quarterback hurries, and was top 5 in tackles for loss with 5.5. Total career stats: 37 games, 65 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 4 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. Numbers don't scream generational, right? Average just 1.5 sacks a season? But here's the insight. Football isn't just about stats, it's about traits, impact, and projection. Pro scouts salivated over Stewart because he's a freak athlete, so you might want to look beyond the stats. Stewart's game is built on length, speed, and bend. His first step is lightning quick, like a sprinter off the blocks, but he needs to refine his hand usage and add counters to his rush. In college, he relied on pure athleticism, but in the NFL, you just have to develop technique. Speaking of the NFL, let's talk draft night, because that's where dreams become reality. April 2025, Detroit's hosting the draft, and Stewart's name is buzzing. Mock drafts had him top 10, top 15. Unfortunately, he didn't make it to the top 15. Rather, he was the 17th overall pick. The Cincinnati Bengals saw him as a perfect fit for bolstering a D-line that's hungry for a Super Bowl run with Joe Burrow at the helm. When it seemed everything was set in stone, Stewart skipped minicamp in June. Not many people were sure what was happening. The fans were panicking, and for a moment, people wondered if he was going back to college. However, things returned to normal in July. He was back and put pen to paper for a 4-year, $18.97 million deal and a $10.8 million signing bonus. In a moment, he was back to camp. As of August 2025, he's grinding in Bengal stripes, making up for lost time and impressing coaches with that work ethic. He's already withstanding pressures, showing why he's worth every penny. Imagine Shemar lining up against Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, quarterbacks who think they're untouchable. Time will tell how he copes with the big names. So what's next for this rising star? Training camp reports say he's adapting fast. Well, we will find out how much he has learned sooner or later. If you had a blast watching this, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest crazy content. Drop a comment below and let us know which moment blew your mind the most. Catch you all in the next one.